Hi, I'm Andrea from Together, and this home learning help is about making Play-Doh. Now, Play-Doh is fantastic for developing skills across a range of areas, but it's particularly good for helping with fine motor skills. So we really love doing Play-Doh work, but in this video we're going to talk a little bit about the recipe and how you can use a recipe in making Play-Doh to support literacy and maths development. I'm going to show you a recipe that I've used many times over the years, and it's from the website called The Imagination Tree. It's run by Anna Ranson. She has some fabulous ideas for different sorts of Play-Doh that you can make and different ways you can use it, as well as lots of other ways to learn through play. So check out that website, have a look at it, it's brilliant. I would recommend that you include the young person in making this Play-Doh with you. And the reason for that is that if they're following a recipe and measuring things, they're obviously practicing lots of literacy and math skills, so it's fantastic for doing that. But one of the reasons that I use Anna Ranson's recipe is that she uses cup measurements. So that makes the recipe really simple and easy to follow if you're using it with someone that has literacy levels that are developing at an early stage. Now, not everybody has an official cup measurement, but really don't worry about it. Just aim for a little bit less than the rim of an ordinary teacup. As you can see in this picture, you're not aiming to fill the cup thoroughly, but it'll be roughly fine. If I was wanting a young person to follow a recipe, I would present the recipe to them in different ways depending on their literacy skills. Now, clearly, if they've got very good literacy skills, I would just give them a written recipe and there wouldn't need to be very much to support that. However, if their literacy skills are at an earlier level, they probably would need some visual support to support their writing, their understanding of what's written there. So I would usually just write out the recipe and draw some pictures to go with it. And on the right hand side of the screen, you can see a very simple and roughly done recipe with some symbol support, and it's done deliberately to show you that you don't need to have very many skills, you don't need to be a good drawer in order to be able to do this. One of the key things that I would say though is that if you're saying that a child needs to put 2 cups of flour in, for instance, then draw 2 cups, not just 1 cup and a flour symbol. Do 2 cups just to illustrate exactly what you mean. If the young person that you're working with has literacy skills at a much earlier level, then I would perhaps just cut up each of these instructions and present one instruction at a time to the young person for them to follow. And once that instruction has been completed, give them the next instruction to follow. Another way of making it easier to follow is to remove the writing and just give the symbols and to talk through what it is that they need to do. Now, looking at the recipe, obviously you include flour, salt and vegetable oil and boiling water. Those are the things that are essential for the recipe. You can make Play-Doh just using those things. This recipe includes cream of tartar, food colouring and glycerin because they make the Play-Doh nicer. So cream of tartar helps the Play-Doh be a little bit thicker and sturdier, fluffier, and it also makes it last longer so that you don't have to store the Play-Doh in the fridge. Gel food colouring, you can put food colouring in to make it look really lovely. You could also add glitter or scents of different kinds, and the glycerin actually makes it shinier and stretchier, but you don't have to use those things. You can get cream of tartar, food colouring and glycerin from supermarkets in the baking aisles. That's where you will find them. They're quite easy to come by and inexpensive. Mine lasts for a long time because I only ever use it in Play-Doh making. From here on in, the recipe is really simple. All you have to do is put everything into a bowl and mix it up. Start with just 1 cup of water initially, and if the mixture still looks a little bit dry, add a little bit more hot water at a time, but you probably wouldn't need more than 1.5 cups in total. It'll just be a little bit of an experimentation to see how you get on with it. Once you've got it all in the bowl and mixed up and it's cooled a little bit, tip it out onto a table and begin to knead it until it feels like it's the right texture. At this point, you can add a little bit more food colouring if you think it needs to be a stronger colour. You can add a little bit more flour as you're kneading it if you think it's a little bit sticky. You can also add a little bit more water or oil if you think it's too dry. So it's just a case of experiencing it and seeing what it's like. It's actually a really nice time to experience Play-Doh because it's still warm, so it adds to a little bit of a sensory experience as well. Obviously, while you're making Play-Doh, you're actually learning about maths, so numerals as in 2 or a half, things like that. If you want to support understanding of half measurements, just put a little dry wipe or felt tip marker on a cup so that they can see where they need to fill to. That helps out as well. If you're wanting to think about, rather than using cups, you want to use measurements, then 2 cups of flour is roughly 140 grams in weight. Half a cup of salt is the same, approximately 140 grams of salt. So you could just give a little piece of paper with 140 grams on, get the child to measure out on some scales and find the exact number. So measure until they've got the exact number. A cup of water in millilitres is roughly 250 millilitres. So you could get a measuring jug and just put a little marker on with your child, find that place where that measurement would be, put a little marker on so they fill to that level. Obviously, when you're playing with Play-Doh, you can use any Play-Doh tools that you might have in the house, or you can use your own cutlery tools that you might have hanging around in the house, so forks, spoons, knives, chopsticks, graters, tongs, scissors that you're happy for your child to use. Anything like that is perfect. Now we come on to storing the Play-Doh. If you've made your Play-Doh with salt, flour, oil and hot water and you haven't added any other things, you will need to store your Play-Doh in the fridge. It can last for a long time, a few weeks in the fridge, but you need to always store your Play-Doh in an airtight container with as little air around it as possible. So within a plastic bag with all the air squeezed out, or a container that's as close to the size of the Play-Doh as possible. If you've also included cream of tartar in your Play-Doh, you can actually store it outside of the fridge and it can last for months outside of the fridge. Well, we hope that you found this video useful, and if you have, check out our other Play-Doh video where we have a quick look at the fine motor skills that can be developed during Play-Doh play, and have a look at our other home learning help videos too. Hope they're useful to you. If they are, please like, share and comment, let us know what you think, and if you've got any suggestions for future videos, let us know. We'd love to hear your ideas. In the meantime, I hope the home learning's going well. Take care. Bye.